Yeah, let's go.
Yay!
Yes.
Woo! Reylo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Heyo!
All
Are you
right.
making this up for the whole video? Or...
Welcome to another exciting and special edition of Smudcast number 243. This is what we do every day.
Another 243? Jesus.
Yeah, we count backwards sometimes. It's kind of hard to keep track of all these things.
But that implies there are multiple 243s.
That implies multiple 242s as well. Yeah, I know. It's kind of scary. Anyway, here is why Reylo is secretly genius. And in case you didn't know that, Ray is amazing, and Kylo Ren's okay too. But when you put them together, it is genius. And
It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and because it's not in the story, you have to then figure it out because it's a secret that not only Rian Johnson was doing, but JJ also knew, and that's how it all works because they, just figured stuff out for us, and we had to understand that by talking to other people.
They worked together really well.
Pretty closely.
They were constantly talking to each other during the creation of the sequel trilogy.
Yes, it is a metaphysical Romeo and Juliet story.
When
Ryan
Ryan was writing his script, his second draft of the script of TLJ, he kept saying it to JJ, and JJ was like, "Yes, this is exactly how my story. This is exactly what all my mystery boxes are leading into."
It's as if they were kind of reading each other's minds. They knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And everything just neatly connected, and everything made perfect sense. It was quite amazing how they were able to do that, even though they were different people.
They also hired numerous people with good knowledge of Star Wars lore, so that they could get all the ships right, make sure that ships that appeared in the original trilogy were also being used by the
I'm just glad they finally got rid of Y-Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knows what those are.
Yeah, Y-Wings were slow. You couldn't really, use them for much. And the replacement...
They weren't effective at all.
Yeah, they're really slow.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
really
Y-Wings were incredibly slow. I mean, did you see?
Didn't they bring them back
New
for Rise of Skywalker?
Well,
yeah, but that was
those were the upgraded models. So if you remember in Rise of Skywalker, they actually had an upgraded model Y-wing shooting the shit out of one of those really kick-ass Star Destroyers.
Mm-hmm.
And
how about that amazing scene where that really showed JJ's knowledge of space combat and military tactics?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Honestly, if there would be like a third world war, I say just send in JJ. We would be safe.
Well, before doing that,
why would you send him in?
He was actually talking to the guys who had, because they'd recently set up that Space Force in America, and they were talking. Obviously, he was talking with military experts about what would be the tactics used. And what they said is, what you do is you gather all your big capital ships in like neat line, and you'd stay in orbit so your shields couldn't come up, and you'd have one little thing on the ground, and they say that's the best tactics you can use in space combat.
Yeah, and you
also do
the strongest
never,
weapon on the
ever,
underside of the ship.
Yeah, and never ever go up. There is no tactical advantage of going up.
Well,
always stay as low as
that's
possible.
not really fair because they didn't know which way is up.
High ground is not what you need to go for.
Yeah, because the closer you are to the ground with your spaceship, the harder it is to be hit.
Bro.
And the less you fall, so you don't crash as bad.
Yep, that's how they get you. The height.
What even is up though?
Because
what movie?
Space,
it's a Pixar movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that Pixar movie about
right.
Those toys that come alive. Because when they come alive, they get up and they move around.
That's a clever title.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get up.
They go up. You see, they get up.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a metaphor.
And they also
it's like a metaphor of when Rey stood up against Palpatine after she died.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Whoa! And that's why. So when Disney bought Star Wars, they were like, "This is going to be a reference to Up."
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like everything's a metaphor. And it's like with Rey's name. Rey is she's a ray of hope, the real hope, not the new hope. She's the real hope because she does the actual thing, not like Luke, who didn't really kill Palpatine. I mean, he didn't do anything really.
Well, you can't really kill Palpatine because Palpatine isn't a person. He's a concept. He's an idea.
He's an idea. Yeah.
We live in a society.
You can't kill an idea.
No.
Except Rey.
Yeah. Well, except Rey.
Rey
She's Rey of.
But it makes sense that Rey can kill an idea because Rey is like laser rays, and lasers can pretty much.
He has all the Jedi.
Well, she has
It was really
racism
cool
on
how
her
we got
side,
that
so-
one scene in Rise of Skywalker where all the Jedi are standing behind Rey and give her the Force powers.
Mhm.
I'm really glad we got that.
Yeah. Honestly,
And
Rise
there's
of
so many
Skywalker
people we don't all
is...
fit on the screen.
Well, you know.
It was implied.
But do we all fit on the screen when we're in the presence of such wonderful things like Reylo? I mean, deep down, are we worthy? Not really, no.
Well, to be fair,
Because
Reylo
is the
wasn't
ultimate.
super on the screen.
It's all there.
Ultimately, I don't think
Anyway.
Disney had the courage to show it.
No. But to be honest with you, we don't need much more from it. We had the finger touch, and which, in my opinion, is one of the sexiest things in all of
We also got the
history.
kiss,
Yeah,
right?
it's like Michelangelo's drawing of Adam and God. And since
Which one's that?
Since Kylo is played by Adam Driver, that means that
Is a
Rey
is a
is
metaphor
God.
for
Yeah.
metaphor
Metaphor
because
for how Reylo drives the plot forward.
yeah, Reylo drives the plot.
Whoa.
Yes.
Are we going to keep this up?
Anyway, I'm going to share
What?
four screenshots of The Last Jedi for why it was such a great movie from my Twitter handle, and we can all look at the exact same screenshot together. No, carry on.
All right, so this is about a 27-minute video. Might take some time. I don't know how long we'll go.
Well, it's 27 minutes, so we've got to wrap this up in 26 minutes.
Yeah, it has to be shorter than
reviews.
Why is
content.
Why does he spend so long on this topic?
Yeah, to be honest with you, no, because it needs a lot of time. You can't just do this in 5 or 10 minutes. Reylo
Well, no, he should be able to
long-
do it in a fight. Like, he's kind of wasting our time.
No. But I
don't want to
any
assume. I
extra
don't want to
time.
assume their pronouns, but I'm sorry.
Shamel are probably not going to waste our time.
All right,
Well,
let's get going.
Let's do it.
Reylo is objectively good, but it could be better. Before we begin, I just wanted to start this video by saying that the following take is just my opinion, and that this video is sponsored by Campfire Plays. Whether you're a writer crafting your latest masterpiece, or a dungeon master carefully forging your next epic adventure, find out more at the end of this video. For now, let's get started.
I mean, it's not quite From, is it? In terms of sponsors.
No.
It's not quite up to that standard, of From.
Who's LiteratureDevil?
The Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy became one of the most iconic cinematic works in modern history, and with it came the undeniably powerful romance between legendary bad boy Kylo Ren and Rey, also known as Rey Skywalker to people who don't hate women. A romance that true, very stable fans have affectionately named Reylo. And this tortured union between Rey and Kylo Ren was soon recognized as the most complex and ultimately the most emotionally charged tales ever written. That
Perfect
was totes
coloring.
adorbs and was
Yeah, I like how the Y is red. It's
Yeah, but because the why is red is because asking why is to do with the Sith. So
I think you're thinking too much about it. It's because Kylo has a Y in his name.
I think Kylie sounds
so
better.
does Rey. But here's the thing, because
Kylie Jenner?
Rey gets.
I think we should call the ship Kylie. I'm saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but the
Kylie
reason
Jenner.
is why is because when Sith meet people, they say, "What do you want and why?" While when Jedi meet, they say, "Who are you?" So the why is always red because why is a question.
Y is implied.
That kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Look! This literature angel I think is a very intelligent person because he came to the same conclusion as I did. That Reylo is the new Romeo and Juliet. Yes, very intelligent take.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good YouTuber.
Yes, indeed. Mm.
And a funny a thing about Romeo and Juliet is the famous line in Romeo and Juliet is, "Who are you?" And Juliet looks into the distance and sees the ghost of her dead family, and she turns and actually says, "I'm Juliet Skywalker." So it's
that's where the name comes from.
Yeah, that's where the Skywalker name came from. And Romeo's name is actually Romeo Ren. So Kylo Ren.
Can we just continue?
Yeah, because it's an alliteration. It makes more sense.
Exactly.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Juliet. As the story goes on, it becomes clear that the final romance unfortunately failed to exploit the full beauty of their tragic epic. But if the timeless tragic love of Kylo and Rey was already so great, what else could they have done differently? How could it possibly have been any better than it was? Well, let's take a look at the grand tale as it was already so elegantly delivered. Two households both alike in dignity in the New Republic, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. Hark! The dark hero enters the waiting stage. Kylo Ren, the fallen son, lost heir to the noble house of Skywalker. Against him, the exiled heroine stands opposed. Rey, the lonely princess of Jakku, daughter to the evil house of Palpatine, whose master did once terrorize the galaxy, who, as emperor, began the age-old feud for all to see between the shining house of Skywalker and the vile house Palpatine, where once a galaxy so far away endured this blight. Kylo and Rey shall at last conclude this fight. One thing that has been true since the creation of Star Wars has been its solid foundation in the mists of mysticism. The mysterious...
It's basically just Shakespeare. I mean, that's all that is happening with J.J. Abrams. He can write like Shakespeare. That's what he does.
No. Shakespeare is basically just J.J. Abrams.
Oh.
Well, a little bit
There are many landswares in the original Shakespeare plays, so
No, he's just refining Shakespeare into something better, where he's getting off the rough edges and polishing it.
A little known fact is J.J. Abrams' first credit on movies was The Lion King, which everyone knows is based on Hamlet, which is a
of course
William Shakespeare story. So J.J. took that inspiration for his writing and was like, yes, Shakespeare is the way we should be moving forward with.
So we completely missed the themes of the Lion King in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously Lion King based on Hamlet, which has got the famous "Now comes the winter of our discontent" speech.
And you can definitely see the parallels to the Lion King, to that part in the Lion King where Simba says, I am all the Lion Kings, and he hears all the voices of
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah. Why? What?
Yeah, you can definitely see the parallels.
Did you not, Yokai, did you not see that part of the Lion King? It's
like that part where Simba, he absorbs the lightning from Scar.
It's okay, Yokai. It's in the special edition of Lion King.
It's in a deleted scene
it's
where
in
he
the
gets
JJ
all the old furs from his
in the
ancestors and wears them all at the same time.
Yeah, you need to see the Abrams cut of the Lion King. It's all there.
Yeah. It's like when Scar says, "I have died before," to Simba.
Yeah.
So all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the dark side of the elephant graveyard is a pathway to many abilities. Some consider to be
as he's on the cliff and
Hakuna
about to fall
Matata,
down. He's in the original cut. He's yelling, "You cannot kill an idea."
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
And then Simba says, "I'm an idea."
I have an idea.
And Scar says,
no. Actually, that's what he says. He goes, Simba goes, "Anyway, I'm an anarchist now." And that's how he sets forth his new idea of a communist utopia within his.
I want to see how far you guys are going to go with this. Are Timon and Pumbaa a metaphor or a symbol for something?
Yeah, they are
how
like
far we're gonna go with what?
the working
They're the
class.
representation.
Yeah.
Wow, you all have very strong opinions about Timon and Pumbaa.
Well, yeah, they were.
What are we going for with? What?
The theme is obviously a dichotomy between the parasitical pleb and the hard worker who's pulled down by the other, and
the hard-working oppressed gay couple that are held down.
Of course, you had it. I knew somebody was gonna make Timon and Pumbaa gay. Somebody was gonna fucking do it.
What's wrong with them being gay?
I've not made them gay. They are gay. It's quite clear.
Yeah, what's wrong with them being gay?
They're two male characters in a friendship. Of course, they're
pretty bold to have that sex scene.
When two male characters are in a friendly relationship with each other, that automatically means they're gay.
That was the Yokai. Come on, right?
Yaki, I think you're being very homophobic right now.
Yeah, don't you see how they're gay coded?
I'm gonna sit you down. I'm gonna watch the JJ cut of Lion King, and you're gonna see all these scenes, and you're just gonna go, you know what? I was wrong.
Wow, I didn't notice.
I think that this video is gonna do that way better than we can. Yeah. So we could probably carry on.
Oh yeah, we should carry on. Yes.
Force and the light side of the Force. The dark representing raw emotion, unrestrained passion, and one's greedy indulgence to the darkest Force, and the dark and light side of the Force. The dark representing raw emotion, unrestrained passion, and one's greedy indulgence to the darkest parts of ourselves. A complete surrender to the primal, while the light side represents the tougher road towards discipline, enlightenment, and the higher pleasures. In the words of Grecian philosopher and playwright Aristotle,
the light and dark represent the two dimensions of the human soul.
Okay, is it just me, or is this fucking Glib?
Versus the difficult climb to higher.
No, this is Gary Stoddle.
I swear to God, that's Glib.
No, that's Gary Stoddle.
No, that's Gary Stoddle. It's written there. Can't you read?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's in Greek.
It's Glib.
Who's Glib?
Who's Glib? Who the fuck is Glib? What are you on about?
Glibius Aurelius. That's what he means.
The name's on the screen.
Why did you say that name?
Can't you read? Can't you read?
Why did you say that name?
Wow.
Why did you say that name?
So from what I'm getting, this is like A, you're homophobic, and B, you're illiterate. So
right,
okay.
All right.
Somebody voted for Trump, didn't they? Nazi.
So what is your problem with gay people? Honestly.
Yeah.
Just what is it?
Gary Stoddle was gay as well. So you got some answering to do here.
No, I want to have this discussion. What's your problem with gay people?
I don't have a problem.
Number one, they exist.
Stupid. Just continue the video.
I'm talking to Yaki. Yaki, how about you don't dodge the question? What's your problem with gay people?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the second person that's called me Yaki.
Yeah, but his name's Yokai because we.
No, I mean I was actually on the phone with a customer service rep, and they misread my email as Yaki.
Yeah, Yaki, what you're dodging the question. I don't know, I just want an answer.
Is that like Pokey?
I don't know.
Yuck.
Yoki main. Why are you dodging the question?
See, the problem with gay people is that they're transphobic. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, that's what.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah, I've
wait. What?
Yeah.
No, wait. What? No.
Exactly. Anyway,
no, straights are transphobic.
Why do you hate trans people, Zach?
I'm not straight.
He doesn't hate trans. He's not
What's
straight.
your problem with trannies?
I don't have a problem with trannies. I'm not straight.
Why are you erasing my existence?
That's exactly what a tranny hater would say.
Yeah.
Wisp.
Yeah.
Why are you so transphobic, Wisp?
Yaki's the problem. Yaki's the one with the trans problem. Why are you aiming it at me?
That's exactly.
I'm listed as trans in the LiteratureDevil Discord. So
because
Yaki, do you even have your pronouns in your Twitter bio?
When we have to do a witch hunt, we always have to go for the most impure first.
Yeah, Yoki's not.
Oh, I'm the least pure here. Is that what I am?
No, Zach is.
No. You're not.
Excuse
me?
me?
You do something wrong.
Don't you turn this around on me? Don't you turn this around on me? Yaki's the one coming in here with all the homophobic, transphobic comments.
Zach. Zach, we'll get to you. We'll get to your transphobic problems.
We're
later.
really
let's just take.
How can I be transphobic? I'm not straight.
Are you semi-bisexual? Then no, you don't have anything to. No, you don't have anything to say. Semi-bisexual beats whatever you want, so it's fine. Anyway,
don't give me that. Don't give me that cisgendered rhetoric.
I beg your pardon. I'm not cisgendered.
Yeah, you are. You're semi-bisexual.
This is fucking sick.
Yeah.
What's sick here, Yaki?
Yeah. Wow. What's sick? What's sick? My sexuality.
We're having a discussion.
Thank you very much. Wow.
I think you people are
Ready
fucking
to go
sick.
and wow.
What?
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable.
Hold on. No, back up. What did you just say?
What is wrong with me being semi-bisexual?
Are fucking sick.
Wow.
What is wrong? You people.
Smud,
you people.
Smud, can you please get this dissenter out of here?
I'm gonna put both you guys in a timeout if you can't get along properly. You're gonna have to apologize before we keep going.
You cancel both of
them?
Zach, that's not fair.
Zach,
I'm not apologizing to a transphobe.
Shake hands.
I'm not doing it.
Just shake hands. Just shake hands.
Like kiss.
Right.
I'm actually handling raw chicken right now. You don't want to shake my hand.
And
I don't want to get your gay on my raw chicken.
Okay, again with the homophobic comments. And second, you're eating meat?
Yeah.
But you're eating meat? Wow.
I'm a carnivore. Yes.
Did the chicken consent though?
I'm a vegetarian vegan, so I'm finding this very triggering.
Was the chicken depressed and commit suicide?
As long as it consented.
I think the chicken watched this video actually before it died.
Well, at least it lived a good life before it died.
Yeah.
That's why it wanted to die.
Exactly.
No, it lived a good life before.
Somebody gets it.
Are we gonna keep this up for much longer, or
keeping what up? What are you on about?
What?
What are you on about?
What?
Are you on about transphobe?
No, we're not.
Why am I?
No,
why are you just aiming all this at me? You're the one who's a fucking doll.
We're not gonna keep.
What's the problem
You're
with
the literal
dolls?
objectification of objects.
Zach.
Bro, what's the hell wrong with being a doll?
You're a fucking doll. You're the literal objectification of dolls.
That is dollist.
Schlems and shimmies. Let's just continue with the video, shall we?
I believe I've been subjected.
I think we've taken a little bit of a tangent.
So anyway,
yeah, we need a few more good
Zach.
It's
I don't think it's funny. We'll literally listen to Gary's.
What? I'm not doing anything.
Unbelievable.
And this is the beautiful dynamic that Kylo and Rey represent. Kylo, the boy who rejected his mentor's guidance on the road to a higher self, instead clinging to the primal dark of the wilderness, a slave to his carnal desire and animalistic passion. In this capacity, he acts as the perfect shadow and therefore serves as the perfect counterpart to Rey. Lucasfilm, in its massive stroke of genius, gives us a Star Wars version of a classic romance scenario, that of the ingenue and the rake. The ingenue being a young, innocent, unsophisticated woman, a position that, despite her relatively tough life, Rey fits perfectly. Only 19 years old, she spends her evenings daydreaming about adventure and is fixed with a childlike infatuation with heroes like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. Plus, her life as a lonely scavenger may have left her tough but quite lacking in proper etiquette or how to handle social situations.
Relaxing all cool,
Rey is essentially the opposite. A man mocked by immoral conduct and, more importantly, is often a prodigal son, wasting his inheritance on loose drink and heavy women. A role that Kylo Ren also fills surprisingly well. After all, when Kylo Ren is introduced to us, he's slaughtering resistance members and interrogating old men before eventually moving on to presiding over the annihilation of several planets. The inheritance he so carelessly squanders is less of a monetary nature and focuses more on the legacy of his bloodline. Kylo was left with the distinct privilege of being handed wisdom and skill from his uncle Luke Skywalker, the greatest hero in the galaxy. But rather than consorting with harlots and hobbs, he spent those gifts on his own selfish desires by pledging his allegiance to the dark side. Rey, I know everything I need to know about you. Kylo Ren.
You do. You do. You have that look in your eyes. From the forest. You called me a monster.
Rey, you are a monster. Kylo Ren.
Yes, I am.
And this classic tale of Reich and Ingenue is ultimately a dance of redemption, where the doe-eyed Ingenue catches the attention of the cynical Reich, who, having been dulled to life's primal pleasures, sees something uniquely special within this new woman. The story arc focuses less on one's development into a hero and more upon the Reich's development from a grown boy obsessed with a boyish pursuit of simple pleasure into a man ready to embrace responsibility, the potential for a brighter future, and the complex pleasures of adulthood and love. This is exactly where we see Kylo Ren at the beginning of his journey.
I just throwing it out there. I do take issue that he's insinuating that he has to be a man.
Well, they had to do something right.
Well, they have to start with the male slaughtering of people so that they don't get offended, because obviously you'd be offended if it was a female. But I never saw it as a romance.
Women killed innocent people.
It's kind of hot.
So they had to do it as a man. I know all us here would rather have not seen a man in the movie, but
what I'm saying
unfortunately, it's something that has to be. It's something that has to be.
It doesn't put
it's
men on a pedestal.
Yeah. No. The thing is, it's an outdated concept of having a man on screen, and as soon as Hollywood and the entertainment industry starts to learn that men have no place, being seen. It will be a big stride towards a better.
Wow. Who said that?
You are correct. Women,
I think Burger King said it best, right?
Women have no place other than being the front and center of attention. That is correct.
Women have no place except being right all the time, every time, forever.
Not gonna lie though, it was kind of hot when he slaughtered that village. Not gonna lie.
It did give me the tinglies in my britches.
Kind of like, oh, damn, I mean, it is feeling some kind of way, when you see that, and you're like, damn.
Yeah. It really built into when he was talking to her while she was strapped to that chair. I mean, people call it torture. I just call it foreplay. So it was just, them both getting.
You know, Kylo's the bad guy because he takes off his mask, which is only something that a bad guy would do in the current year.
I don't think he's a bad guy.
Is he the bad guy? He's not a bad guy.
I think he's a victim.
He's a misunderstood.
No, he's
not
a victim. He's not a bad guy. He's a bad boy. That's the whole point.
He's a bad boy.
Yes, he's a bad boy. Yeah.
And the Knights of Ren are his band. His boy band.
Boy band.
He's in a boy band.
Wait, are you actually assuming the Knights of Ren's gender?
I think they just went to Renaissance fairs.
Are you seriously doing that? Are you seriously doing that?
True.
They just like dressing up and going to Renaissance fairs, and I think he had enough of that, so he just stopped hanging out with them. Probably a good idea.
To be honest with you, I think after their first album, I think he did right to go solo.
I just wanna say that I really like that the music is so loud, and because it's so wonderful, it gives me something to think when I don't understand what he's saying.
You don't need to understand the words.
I like that as well. Yeah. No.
Understand what he's saying.
He's good enough to put them onto the screen. So and since we're all fans of Reylo, obviously we can all.
It is a little able. I didn't want to say this, but it is a little ableist that he's putting words on screen because what if somebody's blind? What if somebody watching the video is blind?
They can but the way he talks, they can feel the words. I know what you say. I
agree. I'm just saying, just objectively, that the words are bad.
Yes, especially Western words. Now, had he been saying stuff in Arabic, I would have been perfectly okay with this, and I don't think that he was covering all his bases. But he's using,
Yeah, that's because Western words are white words, and they force their meaning onto you.
What are your thoughts on Arabic? Impressive. Because a friend of mine told me the other day, he's not my friend anymore, but a friend of mine told me the other day that like Islam is really oppressive towards women. What do you think?
No, not at all.
No, it's feminist.
It's very feminine.
Yeah, it liberates women from having to go outside. It's great.
Yeah. Also, there's no alcohol, so there's no rape culture.
That's true.
And you don't have to drive. You always will be chauffeured around. It's great.
Also,
very accommodating.
They don't have fascist pigs. I mean, police on their streets. It's like They get together as like protest groups to get criminals, and and the community deals out the punishment, which is a lot better than having pretty much just armed brutes on the streets who just want to kill black people.
Yeah,
So,
because that is because that is democratic, basic democratic jurisdiction and justice, and that makes it way more fair. Because the whole community decides, and yeah.
The judicial services in Iraq and Afghanistan and countries like that are just top notch. They always get the correct decision.
Yeah.
So
because
if
the majority,
if you're guilty, and it's like they will find you. But if you're innocent, it'll be sort of.
All right. You're kind of getting into mansplaining territory. You should let's wrap it up.
But
then let me take over.
I'm not.
Because yeah.
All right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because if the community decides that you are guilty of something, then that is obviously true because it's the majority, and that has.
It does typically have the most information.
Yeah.
Why do you hate minorities?
Well, if everyone says that you're guilty, then that must be true, right?
Right. I'm talking about the racial majority.
No. It's not even the majority. If somebody says you're guilty, then you are guilty.
Yeah, white people don't count as the majority. They don't count.
No, they don't. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, that's why.
Wasn't referring to white people. Never.
They're imperialist scum.
Well, the majority usually decides that they're guilty, but that is because white people are oppressive.
Yes, that is true.
And even if it's not white people who do it, I mean, it's still white supremacy,
Reylo.
Here's 210505. The Last of Us 2 is a masterpiece of gaming. Of course, obviously. I mean,
I agree.
All those awards, broke all those sales records.
Always has been.
Lots of great female protagonists. I mean, just fantastic game.
They were flying off the shelves in the game stores in my town.
Yeah, and having lots of awards certainly proves that you are.
Money.
Yeah, and having lots of awards from whatever places.
It won Game of the Year,
always
right?
justifies that you are.
Yeah,
that your product is amazing. That it's really great. It's like we had a very, very great leader here in Germany once, and he had the highest honors and medals that we could have in our country, and he had them all, and so that proves that he was a good leader.
And he was socialist, so that's always a positive sign.
Yeah, he was a socialist. He was fighting capitalism.
He lowered unemployment to 0%, and he was lowering the CO2 output of his nation.
He founded national parks and all of that. Yeah,
that was well before we even knew climate change existed. I mean, he was so ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was so. He was. It was a preemptive fight against climate change before.
Who was this again?
He also brought us bicycles.
I forget his name.
He's
kind of obscure. Most people don't know his name.
The major problem is the capitalist nations just cancelled him and just scrubbed his name from the history book.
That was pretty much like the first display of cancel culture.
Yes.
Was it Stalin?
No. But it was also a socialist.
See, he was the glorious leader of the Soviet Union. We're talking about the leader of Germany.
Oh, Mussolini.
But you are correct. Stalin did a lot of things. It's like he opened places that people could go to work, and they had minimum wage. And the best thing is, they also had accommodation on site at these workplaces where you could stay for years and years. And you were never short of doing a job, and so people weren't suffering and starving on the streets. They were
Yeah, and it was so advanced. You even could go to the toilet right at your workplace. You didn't even need to leave the room.
Exactly.
was super advanced, and we've lost all of this. We've lost all of this super high tech.
It was so advanced that capitalist nations had to build a wall to stop people fleeing from Western Europe into the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
All right, here is.
We're moving. Yeah.
Here's Cyrek. This video truly validates all the things about Reylo, and more people should enjoy Literature Angel. Yeah, we haven't seen too much of Literature Angel, but I'm glad you started making videos. It's always nice to see.
Well, he kind of mistyped at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, he
said
called
Literature Devil
for some reason. I don't.
It was a bit of a mistype, but it's fine. It's his channel. He can kind of do whatever he wants.
If in that moment he wanted to identify as a literature devil, that's perfectly fine. He can choose. It's up to him. Feelings don't care about fact, so
I couldn't agree more.
Can you be a trans demi-angel?
Yeah, well, yes. he did like pretty much the quickest transition ever in Mankind's history. So
take slight issue with the kind of Judeo-Christian ideology here. That representation really oppressive, but it's
no. Islam also has angels. He could be an Islamic angel.
Oh, okay, then it's fine.
Yes, yeah. And also, Islam created the written word, so they created literature. So yeah,
there you go.
I do believe he is moving. Yeah.
And the toothbrush.
And the Quran was written before the Bible, so the Bible is really just like a copy. So really,
It's true.
All right, let's go.
In the Quran, it was Ahmed and Khlaver, not Adam and Eve. So
it's true.
They steal.
I've read it.
Yeah. Good read.
Here is 2Tim505. Captain Marvel is the best superhero film ever. We haven't had too many good superhero films. There's been a lot of those very masculine team-ups with other men. It's just kind of boring. But we
had Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, that's the exception, though. This is the only other one as well, the Captain Marvel film, where you actually have a female superhero knowing what she's doing and how she's doing it, and she's beating everyone up. Like, that's normal. Like, that's pretty normal for most women, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Amber Heard.
I know my life. Yeah. Oh, Amber Heard. Whoa. Oh, she's a fantastic actress.
Well, she was defending herself mostly.
I really enjoy her work, and I follow her on Twitter, and I'm actually part of her fan page on Facebook, and it's just wholesome content all the time. I just can't believe what Johnny did. That man.
If I could kill him, I would.
Yes. I would kill him, smear his blood on my face, and just stand in front of Amber Heard's mansion, waiting for her to, come out and hug me, so we could.
With consent, I would need consent first. Moving on.
Anyway.
Snoke, alas, you're no Vader. You're just a child in a mask. Many might argue that the love story of Disney Star Wars follows another classic formula, that of the love triangle, an emotional struggle between two hopefuls with one common love interest, just as one might see in The Phantom of the Opera between the Phantom, Raoul, and Christine Daae, or The Hunger Games between Gale, Peter, and Katniss Everdeen. It's normally a tragic and emotionally tense story, normally upholding the seemingly inevitable result of two characters riding off happily ever after, while one is left with his heart shattered to pieces. The assertion is that the love triangle in Disney Star Wars is among Finn, Kylo, and Rey, which is of course ridiculous. Finn pales in comparison to Kylo Ren, because as we all know, Finn hasn't committed nearly enough genocide to be attractive. As Gary Stotle states in his legendary magnum opus, The Euphoria, a study on narrative structure and character development.
Write a psychopath. Wenches love psychopaths. Hashtag the force is female.
In The Force Awakens, we're introduced to Rey, a character yearning for connection, and so the lonely Princess Palpatine dutifully waits for her family to return, for her knight in shining armor to carry her away from that dismal existence like a prince from a fairy tale. But no prince ever arrives. Meanwhile, we're introduced to a Kylo Ren who, much like the promiscuous rakes of old, has embraced selfish primal passion, a boy fully dedicated to his own journey down to the dark side. But parallel to Rey's hunger for some kind of emotional connection to save her from her loneliness, Kylo Ren craves salvation. But within Kylo we see conflict that in the end will signal the oncoming romance and spark his eventual infatuation with Rey. Just as the Rey consciously shies from adulthood, desperate for carnal pleasure, while secretly hungering for something more meaningful, which usually arrives in the form of the ingenue, Kylo feverishly walks the path of darkness, yet at the same time secretly hungers for enlightenment to fight back against his primal desire to remain a boy and become a man. Although he aches for stability, maturity, and enlightenment, Kylo Ren actively fears the burden. Kylo Ren.
Forgive me, I feel it again. The pull of the light. Supreme Leader senses it. Show me again the power of the darkness.
The story of The Force Awakens is the story of Kylo Ren meeting Rey and Rey meeting Kylo Ren, and then Kylo alone recognizing what that meant. That at long last he had found not Han, not Leia, not any of his friends at the Jedi Temple, not Luke, and not even Darth Vader, but possibly the one person in the galaxy who would truly understand both his torment and, more importantly, him. And we see this escalate by the time we reach The Last Jedi. As is tradition with the ravenous rake, he soon becomes infatuated with the delicate ingenue, a tradition Kylo Ren follows perfectly by the advent of The Last Jedi. Kylo Ren.
They were filthy junk traders. Sold you off for drinking money. They're dead in a pauper's grave in the Jakku Desert. You come from nothing. You're nothing, but not to me.
The story of The Last Jedi, the most themed film of the Disney Star Wars sequels, carries two major elements in the delightful romance, seduction and rejection. The first half of The Last Jedi deals with Rey in an emotionally vulnerable state. She had lost her teacher in Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker had rejected her request for mentorship, and she has yet to truly discover where her connection lies, and so her own hunger remains unsatisfied. Meanwhile, Kylo's trek down the dark path had made things easy. The power it granted allowed him to accomplish nearly any goal with ease. It wasn't until Rey emerged that Kylo encountered a real challenge which sparked his interest in her in the first place. Another aspect of baseless critique. Insert something about Nazis. You can see this interest manifest in the offer he gives her during the climactic battle in The Force Awakens.
Yes.
To quote Kylo Ren,
You need a teacher. I can show you the ways of the Force.
The Last Jedi shows us that despite previous failures, Kylo was angered, but like a rake spurned by the ingenue, his interest is piqued, but his confidence is not yet broken. Just as the rake would pursue his new potential conquest, Kylo still believes he can seduce Rey to the dark side when he once again tells her to join him. In the words of Kylo Ren,
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. It's the only way you can become what you are meant to be.
Kylo Ren using his worldly wisdom to tempt Rey with the one thing she desires, a family.
Your parents threw you away like garbage, but you can't stop needing them. It's your greatest weakness, looking for them everywhere. In Han Solo, now we're Luke Skywalker.
As Kylo Ren discovered during The Force Awakens, both he and Rey possess something the other needs. Each can fill the empty void in the other's heart. And so this seduction segment of The Last Jedi is when Rey comes to the same realization. Kylo's seduction of Rey reaches its peak when she confronts Luke Skywalker about his betrayal. At that moment, with the loss of her parents and Luke, Rey has lost all avenues of hope, and Kylo Ren's seduction is complete. The rake has seduced the ingenue with his practiced masculine wiles. But remember, seduction isn't the main goal. Unity is. And this is why the throne room scene is widely recognized as the most romantic scene in all of Star Wars. It's here that Kylo Ren's confidence is at its peak.
I have
Rey is fighting alongside him. He had
well,
seduced the
I disagree because I don't think that was the most romantic scene.
Oh well, it's very. The problem is there's so many romantic scenes in The Last Jedi, and they're all equally as good as each other. So what I like about it is that
totally.
we can all pick our own ones, and they're all equally as valid.
No.
That's like your opinion.
In my subjective opinion, they are equally
No.
valid.
Yeah, but I can see how you could see something equal in Rose's sacrifice as she crashes into Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that is very equally romantic. Yes, because she fought to for her love. She sacrifices all the cause, all the rebels, the resistance, just for love. It's it's very romantic. It's extremely romantic. It's a perfect romance, if you will.
Well, I think the part where
sorry, I didn't interrupt.
Sorry, the part where it's where Chewbacca goes, and then Poe is like, "Well, Rey's not here." I think that's the most romantic moment, frankly.
Though the thing with
really highlights the gay tension between Poe and Chewie.
Come on!
No, but the thing
when he said
scene,
I felt that.
The thing about the Rose scene, the reason that's her saving Finn was so emotional and resonated the most is because it sort of like brought a full circle to Finn and Rose's relationship, because it was ending the same way they met, with Rose physically assaulting Finn, since obviously
it rhymes
it rhymes, which is fundamentally the main theme of Star Wars. As George Lucas says, it's like poetry; it rhymes. So this is how Ryan and JJ understood George's vision, because they obviously listened to what he had to say.
I think they understood it better than George did.
Yeah. I think they took it to the next level. They took it a step above, which is why the sequel trilogy story is one for the ages that people will be talking about for a long time, and kids will be growing up, and they'll be going about the stories of Rey and Finn and Kylo and Poe and Babu Frick. These classic characters who are going to stand the test of time.
Ingenue Kilta defeated his gods and stood ready to claim the mantle of Supreme Leader. Then the story takes a turn. Kylo offers Rey his hand, and with all the arrogance of a spoiled rake, he offers her everything he believes that she wants, only to be rejected and soundly defeated. Rey knew that her thirst for connection was not with a hero, but with the friends she had made along the way. And so, with his confidence shattered, Kylo undergoes a crisis of character. And it's at this point that Kylo Ren's character becomes malleable, ready to change. And this malleability, much like heated metal, manifests as burning rage. And this leads to first, Kylo Ren's ongoing rampage during the Rise of Skywalker, and second, his self-reflection during the confrontation with the memory of his father. Han, I miss you, son. Kylo, your son is dead. Han, no, Kylo Ren is dead. My son is alive. Kylo, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Han.
This is such a brilliant reference to Hamlet. Oh god, like yes. I can't believe that JJ pulled this off with Chris Terrio.
Yeah,
I was crying at that moment.
Mm-hmm. It's very reminiscent of when Hamlet was discussing with his father Macduff about all the things that had happened during Act 3. Yeah, and he's like, I miss. So Macduff was like, I missed you, son, and Hamlet was like, no, yeah, your son is dead. Macduff was like, no, Hamlet is dead. My son is alive, and it's just
Really, because I think it ties into the symbology of Timon and Pumbaa's sex.
Well, that too, but really, this is like the first
don't
time
humor me.
Well, no, but I was actually talking about the actual the ancient Shakespeare text.
Well, it was originally supposed to be about lions, but Shakespeare had to make it more audience friendly.
But what about tigers and bears?
Oh my! They
that was mainly because the costumes would be too expensive, and
they couldn't.
The capitalist system at the time, you couldn't afford having them.
Well, King at the time, Richard Lionheart, really wanted lions in it, but it's
there were time restrictions and budget restrictions, and he couldn't do his creative vision. Yeah.
But really, this Star Wars episode, or whatever the fuck it's called, is the best adaptation of this dialogue. There was one attempt from Schwarzenegger in the 90s, but that didn't get close enough.
Yeah, one of the major problems with the lines and everything like that is it's not common knowledge, but it's actually the female lines who have mains. So, due to the obviously intense patriarchy that was, holding people back, they couldn't get any female lions, so that's why the original Hamlet lacked lions. And it took until Disney, with its progressive ideas in the 90s, to fully realise the potential. But unfortunately, even back in the 90s, they still couldn't allow lionesses with manes. So,
do you think Literature Angel will make a video about the gender dynamics of the Lion King?
I hope so, because I'm really enjoying this video, and I look forward to seeing his insight and what knowledge he has on that subject.
I'm sure he has plenty to say, whatever it is.
Oh, I've already subscribed, and I'm now on his Patreon, and I've just donated at least £750. So I know that.
Did you lose count?
I know that was. I could only donate that because that's all I had in my bank account. I know I'm gonna go without food, but I just believe in this content.
Yeah, but that's okay because that will be enough for a moderate meal at McDonald's.
True.
Yeah.
But I just think that between feeding myself and paying my bills, or giving this content creator my entire monthly wage, I just had to do it. So it's just so good. So
you do. And third, his final redemption, which first manifests as their team effort to battle Palpatine, a perfect mirror to the fight in Snoke's throne room. And finally, he sacrifices his life to save Rey, ending in a passionate kiss of gratitude. It's ultimately the role of the ingenue to redeem the rake by becoming, in his eyes, a priority desires, but is much harder to attain than any previous objects of desire he'd encountered before. Because for the first time, it isn't only the woman's beauty, but her heart that he ultimately craves. Likewise, the ingenue may find the rake alluring, but craves a better man, and so the rake is forced to wake from a state of constant levity and change for the better, while the willing ingenue works to change him. The brilliant emotional journey of Kylo and Rey, though heavily criticized by man babies, is once again elegantly encapsulated in Gary Startle's The Euphoria.
Humanity in its entirety is not logical. The nature of humanity is an impulsive one. They make choices based on emotion. No one man thinks exactly the same as another. To act logically would mean casting aside one's humanity.
Proving once and for all that logic is only for immature man-children. But this all sounds great. So again, how could this tragic tale possibly be any better than already presented? Well, let's find out, shall we? Just remember, the following scenario is simply my perspective brought by my passions for this legendary couple, and is in no way meant to debunk your happiness. As written by the great Gary Startle,
there is no greater waste of time than debating art.
We are, after all, entitled to our feelings and the space to express them. Having said that, what is romance if not two people missing something, seeking something, and finding it in someone else? The story of Kylo Ren and Rey closely resembles the romantic epic of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Two star-crossed lovers, literally in this case, whose union is forbidden because they were born to rival families.
Oh, because they're in space. Star-crossed space. Okay.
And Rey belonging to the rival house of Palpatine. But it's also true in a spiritual sense, with Kylo pledging his allegiance to the dark side and Rey choosing the light. But perhaps Romeo and Juliet wasn't the best formula to utilize. After all, given the complex genius of The Last Jedi, one can't seriously expect your average viewer to fully comprehend its deep philosophical messages unless of course they have a firm background in theoretical Russian poetry. Rey is undoubtedly the central character of Disney Star Wars. However, as one may have noticed with our exploration into the drama between Kylo and Rey, it is Kylo who stands as the central character to their romance. He is, after all, the one whose character arc is said to shift and change around his relationship with Rey, while Rey as a character is linked to a general search for companionship, which is why she's eventually able to reject Kylo Ren during The Last Jedi. So, when talking about the tragic story of Reylo, we're really talking about the arc of Kylo Ren from boy destined by blood to be a hero to prodigal son corrupting his gifts for selfish desire, and then to his redemption. Keeping all this in mind, let's take a look at what presentation may have served to paint the journey of Reylo in a far more profound and emotionally resonant display. lie. And so sorry to disappoint the fanboys, but this fix does not include making Rey more attractive. Rey's empowering nature comes from representing what real women look like, and as anyone who respects women knows, real women aren't attractive. Just remember that the following is simply my opinion. So, if you find yourself feeling upset, just remember that Star Wars is a silly movie series about space wizards intended for children. Anyway, as Anakin Skywalker's flesh was melting off on Mustafar after having most of his limbs.
Alright, so we're going to talk about internalized misogyny. Okay, why are women attractive? Why do you think... it's a simple question. Why do you think women are attractive?
Silence.
Wow, can't answer?
Women are a social construct, by the way.
Maybe.
Okay, you know what? I'm trans, and so I can find women attractive, but you can't.
Oh,
that's the
sorry.
rules.
That's
the rules. That's the rules.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You didn't get the memo. That's okay. It happened.
I will delete my Twitter profile.
Because they have
I didn't mean to cause offense.
It's because they have.
That's okay. It's enough if one of you cancels himself.
They have asses.
That's enough.
There's numerous reasons.
Okay, you're still in the Nazi corner.
You get to look at them.
You can answer when we allow you in. So
I see.
You can answer after you kill yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you guys already killed me with your rubbish.
What rubbish?
What rubbish?
Okay,
we're only speaking the truth.
Wow. Okay. Listen, just because your orange man had kids in cages and was like a fascist dictator, doesn't give you the right to call Reylo and what we're watching and what we're talking about rubbish. Hey, guess what? Biden won, and it's a new America now. So,
totally.
I haven't got any more time for your crypto-fascist rhetoric. So, yeah.
Crypto-fascist. That's a new one.
No, that's a very old term.
I read a book.
Once.
Look, the orange man is gone, and America now has the good fashion with socialism. So it's everything's fine. Just accept
America.
He's coming back.
America now has President
back.
Harris. So it's a new day and a new dawn.
He was on. I forgot the name of the event. He was up there. He said he's running again in 2024.
Oh, he's gonna lose.
Yep.
Be ready. He's coming.
852 million Americans voted for Biden. I don't think he's got a chance of winning the next time.
He's gonna get you.
Here is Cyrex Superjet. Personal point of privilege. As an anti-capitalist, I wish to give you this money to forward the socialist cause. This is to spread my wealth to you just as Karl Marx intended. And hashtag praise Hawk. Well, thank you very much. That's always nice to see.
That's very nice. Thank you, fellow comrade.
Wow.
That money can go to mine and Smud's trip to northern South Korea to teach children English.
Yeah, you can finally do that, man.
That's some nice practice right there.
And don't forget, Karl Marx is basically the anti-Santa. That means he has the beard, but he's not.
I thought you were going to say Karl Marx is based.
No. But he's giving.
Stop sounding like a chud.
No, he's taking the wealth and giving it to the socialist cause.
Moving it somewhere else.
Yeah, to the socialist cause, to further the socialist cause, so that he can write more wisdom.
Yeah. The way
anti-Santanism.
violently hated by his best friend and losing a war revolving around corrupt governments, trade negotiations, and taxes, we see the final moments of Anakin's reign as galactic hero. His nobility corrupted by horrific tragedy, a tragedy that ushered him across the moral horizon from savior to destructor. And it's this same critical, vulnerable moment where we first see Kylo Ren. Despite the years he's traveled down the dark path, he's still relatively fresh from tragedy and betrayal. Not only from the mentor who lost faith in him, but the mother who lied to him about his familial bond to Darth Vader, and the father who abandoned him. If you remember this quote from earlier, Kylo Ren,
I feel it again, the pull to the light.
Signaling to us, as written, he is in a morally and emotionally vulnerable time in his character arc. Confident in his abilities and chosen path as mentioned before, but locked in a constant battle against his moral self. The self that Rey helps him to become. So rather than Romeo and Juliet, a better foundation for the tale of Kylo and Rey would be the tale of Beauty and the Beast. At least in premise. That premise being of a selfish man enslaved to his own desires, cursed to live out the rest of his days as a hideous beast until he finds his one true love, which he comes to find in the character Beauty. So, how would this translate into Star Wars? Well, the heart of this dynamic is perfectly set after Kylo Ren had captured Rey, and we come to this exchange. Rey, I know everything I need to know about you. Kylo Ren,
You do? Ah, you do. You had the look in your eyes from the forest. You called me a monster.
Rey, you are a monster. Kylo Ren,
Yes, I am.
remember, each character of the fairy tale had two elements that were essential to their roles. The Beast was marked by his selfishness and his infatuation with Beauty. Beauty herself was marked by...
Oh yeah, it's great that the same quote means two different pieces of art at the same time.
Dualism.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
See, you really need to understand.
It's double poetry.
To understand this.
It's double poetry. It double rhyme.
It's two reasons.
Why are you quoting a White Cisgender male?
Here is Francis Board Coppola. Would anyone be interested in investing in my new business? It's the world's first sex chat line operated by the mentally disabled. We already have first 3 employees, Renegade Cut, Vosh, and Cavernacle.
Wow.
That seems very strange because those 3 are quite intelligent people. Because Cavernacle has a history degree. And he knows quite a bit. I mean, he gets most of his political history from the Metal Gear Solid series, which
and his socialist.
I think Vosh also has a history degree.
Don't forget his
Oh
socialist.
no, that was
professor.
Jake. Jake has a history.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't forget the socialist professor.
Yeah, and his socialist professors. Yeah.
Yeah, but they all of them at least have an IQ above room temperature, because Vosh has always said that others have one below, so he must have one above, and that's very intelligent.
And as Vosh said, I like horsecock, so that obviously shows his prowess.
What did he mean by this?
Well, horsecocks are large, and it shows the largeness of the socialist struggle.
Yeah, because horses and horsepower is the metaphor for the power of the proletariat.
The horsecock enters the deep themes.
If we all just stiffen up against capitalism,
like
we'll
a
be able
horsecock.
to beat it. Yeah, like a horsecock, we'll be able to beat it, and that's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's
horsecock is the key to all of this.
That's some good praxis right there.
If we get the horsecock working, we can get amazing things.
Really, I mean, instead of the hammer and sickle, like the communist flag should have been a big horsecock. You know, I think that would have got the idea across more.
It should have just been a horsecock and George Floyd. That's it.
Right.
Just together.
I think that would have just
I
think that would have got.
Sure we can. I'm sure we can convince Vosh of
It should
advocating for making that change happen.
It should be a big horsecock and the Black Lives Matter fist holding the horsecock.
Yeah.
Together on the flag. Yeah.
I think that just communicates the idea.
Mm-hmm. It's shown that with a horsecock in hand, no one will stand in our way.
No one will stand in your way. You're just too powerful.
No.
You're too powerful to be left alive.
Mm-hmm.
compassion, and choosing to suffer on behalf of another. And for the sake of argument, we'll let this play out as if Kylo and Rey also possess these elements. So how would this look if the focus of Disney Star Wars was centered a little more on romance with what is, in my opinion, an optimal writing formula for Kylo and Rey? We'll start with part 1, The Force Awakens. One of the biggest problems of The Force Awakens is that it wastes too much time trying to appeal to big dum dum fanboys. So, let's keep the beginning and the end, but alter some of the middle to fit the new model, and better signal the romance from movie 1. In the original story, Beauty surrenders herself to the Beast on behalf of her father, who had accidentally committed a crime in the Beast's eyes. Rather than kill Beauty, the Beast becomes entranced by her charm. In our version of The Force Awakens, Finn's escape from the First Order plays a much larger role. Finn is still a stormtrooper that experiences a moral crisis, and the goal of the First Order is still to eliminate the last of the Jedi, as explained in the title crawl. To quote, "The sinister First Order has risen from the ashes of the Empire and will not rest until Skywalker, the Last Jedi, has been destroyed." Our changes technically begin when Starkiller Base fired on the Republic. Everything proceeds as before, except we see Kylo Ren voice his protest against firing the weapon, only to be immediately rejected by Hux. Kylo Ren:
"You told me the weapon was only for intimidation. It was never supposed to be used."
General Hux: "We're operating under the direct order of Supreme Leader Snoke. Are you suggesting we defy his command?" Kylo Ren:
"No, proceed as ordered, General."
This display of virtue allows a small hint for his future redemption, but the real change begins soon after the First Order attacks Maz Kanata's castle. In the original movie, Rey runs into the surrounding forest and is captured by Kylo Ren, Kylo already having developed an interest in Rey. However, in this version, Kylo Ren captures Finn and promises to absolve the renegade First Order stormtrooper of any wrongdoing if Rey would voluntarily surrender, and surrender she does. Kylo keeps his promise and Finn is released. Rey is still interrogated by Kylo and he reads her mind, and having done so, he sees a kindred spirit in Rey.
"There's such a sad love deep in your eyes. It's a kind of pale jewel, opened and closed. Within your eyes, I'll place the sky within your eyes. And as the pain sweeps through, it makes no sense for you. Every thrill is gone. Wasn't too much fun at all."
In this version, Rey is physically helpless and of course cannot use the Force against Kylo Ren, but living a life alone on a hostile planet has required her to develop a natural intuition when reading people. This is how she senses Kylo's internal conflict and wounded soul. And just like Beauty before her, Rey begins to see past his monstrous exterior and into the better man underneath. Kylo is shaken but is eventually able to discover the location of BB-8 and the map to Luke Skywalker. Having completed his mission, Snoke orders him to dispose of Rey immediately. But before Kylo is able to carry out his order, Starkiller Base comes under Resistance attack, and Finn, along with Chewbacca and Han Solo, help to free Rey. The final battle proceeds as before. Kylo Ren immediately chases after Rey and the others. He kills Han Solo and dispatches Finn. However, he tries to connect with Rey while they battle. His skills far outmatch her own, and so the battle becomes less a fight for victory and more a lesson with an unwilling student. Kylo giving her advice on lightsaber form and insight into the Force. Then the moment of truth. By Snoke's command, Rey was supposed to die, but when Chewbacca arrives in the Millennium Falcon to save the day, Kylo Ren, fully possessing the power to destroy Rey, instead lets her go. And that brings us to part 2, The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi proceeds more or less the same. Snoke berates Kylo for his weakness and his failure to kill Rey, knowing full well that she represents Kylo Ren's pull to the light, while he represents his apprentice's pull to the dark. Kylo still finds a Force connection with Rey, and still reveals Luke's deception to turn her against him, pushing Rey to reject Luke Skywalker as Kylo Ren rejected Han Solo. Snoke orders Kylo to kill Rey, and it's here that Kylo must make a choice: Snoke in the dark path or Rey and into the unknown. Kylo chooses Rey and kills Snoke for her sake, rejecting the certain path into the dark side. He then offers Rey to join him.
"Join me. We're past the point of no return. No more backwards glances. The games we played until now are at an end. Past all the thought of if or when. No use resisting. Abandon thought and let the dream descend."
This is where Rey rejects him. This is where Kylo Ren sinks into a monstrous rage and takes the mantle of Supreme Leader of the First Order. After the Battle of Crate, after Kylo faces down Luke Skywalker, after Rey saves the Resistance from Kylo's wrath. In Beauty and the Beast allows Beauty to visit her family, telling her that if she chose not to return, he would die of a broken heart. In the original iteration, Beauty fails to return in time for the sake of her family, and Rey has also done just that, having found her new family with the Resistance. Kylo Ren may not physically die in this scenario, but the heart is traditionally seen as the icon of ethics, and so Kylo Ren's broken heart is represented by his willing fall into evil. So no.
See, this is why Kylo Ren represents smelly alt-right incels. You know, like that's
okay. Why are you talking shit about my bae?
Yeah, the Kylo
So
Ren.
shut the fuck up.
Actually,
he represents the
represents
Phantom Menace.
No.
How about you just shut the fuck? How about you just shut the fuck up? All right. Reylo's perfect. Rey's perfect. Kylo's perfect. Shut the fuck up.
The person who represents Phantom Menace is one of the tentacle creature in Rogue One.
Gullet.
So you mean TFA?
Gullet.
No, in Rogue One.
There was a tentacle creature?
Yeah.
Here is
the horrible rapey one.
Yeah, that was first appearance was in the Star Wars Holiday
it's
Special, right?
The Boogalette.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Gullet.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Francis Ford Coppola's.
His name is Bob. It's named Movie Bob.
The nation.
Stop being mean to Movie Bob.
The nation of Vosh's flag is a horsecock lying on George Floyd's neck. His beliefs are radical sweat when sitting downism and radical shit your pantsism.
Pooped.
That sounds like a nation I can get behind.
I can't.
Really activates the almonds, you know.
That sounds like anyone who disagrees with that obviously must.
Here is Strawman. What sweet hell is this? Ray to Ren harder, Daddy.
Kylo is my only daddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I see no problem. I see no problems with that.
You'd be kind of swole though.
Oh, when he has that shirtless scene. Now again, that's another scene that was so like you could feel the sexual tension. It was just like dripping.
Something was dripping.
I felt a bit hot under the collar sitting in the movie theater. And at that point, I saw Kylo Ren, and I went, "You know something? I can just." He's the peak of physicality.
Just like
he'd be perfect. Yeah, he'd be perfect.
He definitely has a horse cock.
Vosh's horse cock flagged country. I bet Kylo's got a horse cock. I bet that's it. Yeah.
Kylo does not lie, but the good part of him does.
I gave you my music. I watched your song take wing. And now, how you've repaid me, denied me, and betrayed me.
It's important to note that contrary to Rian Johnson's need to rid Kylo Ren of his mask, for our purposes, it's important that the mask is never removed, and that we never see Kylo Ren's face. We'll come back to this point in a moment. And finally, Rey reached the rise of Skywalker. In this version, Emperor Palpatine does not return, and yes, this means that Rey remains effectively a nobody. Rival houses aren't necessary for the Beauty and the Beast dynamic, and so instead Kylo Ren becomes the main antagonist. And oddly enough, this doesn't actually change the overall threat from the original. The original spent the movie following the heroes as they hunted for the Wayfinder so they could defeat the Emperor's Grand Armada. Having been rejected by Rey, Kylo Ren redoubles his efforts to emulate the legacy of Darth Vader, and he begins by gathering the First Order's navy for a final strike at the Resistance, but does not launch his attack. On the surface, this appears to be mere preparation, but in reality, deep inside his heart, Kylo is trying to tempt Rey to return. On Rey's end, she joins a last-ditch effort to slay Kylo Ren. However, Rey joins the fight believing that she can save Kylo Ren like Luke Skywalker did to Darth Vader. See, it's like poetry. It rhymes. Kylo's hesitation causes a schism between himself and General Hux. In A Mirror to Return of the Jedi, Finn, Rose Tico, and Poe battle the First Order while Rey confronts Kylo Ren. General Hux takes Rey into custody while also being secretly aware of Kylo's connection to Rey. As Rey and Kylo are reunited and they begin to speak, a duel of words rather than lightsabers. This is when Hux initiates a coup by shooting Rey in the back. She lies lies on the ground dying, Kylo runs to her side. Hux's men quickly gun down Kylo Ren's bodyguards while the Supreme Leader is distracted. General Hux gloats. His plan had worked perfectly. As Kylo Ren's men die, and as he sees the life fade from Rey's eyes, Kylo's rage returns. Hux orders his men to open fire, and Kylo is shot over and over. But his rage keeps him running. He slices through Hux's men and eventually Hux himself. In the original Beauty and the Beast, Beauty returns to find a dead or dying beast. She of course revives him, and once he wakes, he turns into a handsome prince. So this is when Kylo holds Rey in his arms, lamenting her death.
No one would listen, no one but her could hear as the outcast hears, shamed into solitude, shunned by the multitude. I learned to listen. In my dark, my heart heard music, and she saw my loneliness, shared in my emptiness.
For the first time since the trilogy began, he removes his helmet. The beastly mask he wore when walking down the beastly path finally removed and his human face revealed. Kylo Ren has changed back into Ben Solo. Ben kisses Rey and she awakens. She returns with a passionate kiss of gratitude before Ben Solo tells the First Order to stand down and finally dying, having given the last of his life force to revive Rey. And the movie ends with Rey accepting her new identity and her new future. Overall, Disney's trilogy seemed a little unfocused, claiming to redirect their efforts toward engaging a new female audience, while maintaining the adventuring tradition that fostered the franchise's predominantly male audience. As if Lucasfilm tried to balance two main narratives, Rey's adventure story and the romance of Kylo Ren. The unfortunate result is a story fueled by genius but filled with elements that were never played out to the full potential, rather than abandoning the safe time-tested tale of Romeo and Juliet. Ultimately, the biggest failure of Kylo and Rey was Lucasfilm's reluctance to allow the characters to take the lead, choosing instead to run toward the safety of nostalgia. Perhaps instead of mirroring iconic events from past episodes, they could have told one focused artistic vision instead of an old story retold without the passion of the artist behind it. Perhaps if Lucasfilm really did choose to cut ties with its past, as its decanonizing of the Star Wars Expanded Universe and the systematic elimination of its legacy characters would suggest, and allowed a new, solid narrative with a new artistic vision to better characterize the characters, then maybe the fans could have gotten something closer to a thematic, timeless romantic epic and memorable characters to lead a newly forged legend that would outlast 1,000 generations. And
Please
speaking
clap.
of my opinions, it's my objective opinion that this video has been brought to you by Campfire Blaze. Have you ever thought about creating your own terrifying monsters, plotting your own romantic epic, or designing your very own magical system from the ground up? Well, fear no more. Over 80,000 writers use Campfire Blaze to write better stories faster. Campfire Blaze is a browser-based writing application with a full suite of organizational tools that help you write stories and world build. Its manuscript module will safely store your project in the cloud and allow you to quickly reference details from your story with auto-tagging, create dynamic characters with Blaze's character module, and explore how they interact with the relationship web. The timelines are extremely flexible, allowing you to plan stories in ways that work for you. Keep track of all your world building with maps, locations, species, magical systems, cultures, and more. Your stories are private, but it's easy to share them or even collaborate with others. And I'm sure my fellow subjectivists will delight in learning that Blaze comes with 13 themes, from crime to western to fantasy to sci-fi, romance, and even horror. Set the scene by creating a custom theme that matches your story's tone. Campfire Blaze receives new features every month and is free to use for smaller projects. If you need more space, you only have to pay for the features you need for as little as 50 cents. If you aren't satisfied, get your money back with their 30-day return policy. Write better stories faster with Campfire Blaze. Click the link in the description below to learn more.
Oh, I might do that.
But was that an actual? Was that an advertisement? It felt like he was just telling us what to do. It felt like a good idea.
I mean, it's still not quite Chrome, you know. It's still not quite the level of Chrome as far as fucking sponsors go, you know. It's not.
This might be the greatest video we've ever covered here.
I'm just surprised that he managed to improve upon perfection. That is really great.
Yeah,
there's not much more to say.
I was gripped.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
quite gripped.
Yeah, as I said, there's not much more to say. It just makes you speechless and
he died from euphoria.
Yeah,
it happens. Yeah.
See, that's exactly what I said.
Well, I think I'm going to need a drink after this.
I was drinking throughout the thing.
Ooh.
That's why I don't
April
speak Spanish.
Fools.
What do you mean, April Fools?
What?
What are you on about here?
What? It's April the 2nd here. There's no
Yeah,
such
April
thing.
2nd.
Here's
I don't know what you're on
Francis.
about.
Here's Francis Ford Coppola. Lit Angel is like poetry. He's gay.
Where's the joke in that?
Zach.
Oh, that's why his jacket is too tight.
I don't find that funny.
That's funny.
Poetry is gay.
It is
was
fucking gay.
it was always oppressed in the past, so it's gay. Nothing wrong with it.
Well then, okay.
And it's gay for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that video. It opened my eyes to, you know, how much some of it's
Shut up,
perfect
fascist.
and also
Anyway.
improved. I think you'll find that I voted for Biden, so I'm not fascist. Thank you very much.
I didn't
In
know
fact,
you were dead.
I voted for Biden 3 times, so I'm definitely not a fascist.
All in the same state or in several states?
In different countries, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's as
Well,
the
that
founders
just shows your dedication.
Mm-hmm.
It was a group effort.
You'd be surprised how many. You'd be surprised how many people think that Uruguay is a state.
Oh
You
my
also
god.
vote for other people who couldn't go to vote.
Mm-hmm. I even voted for other people who were couldn't leave the graveyards. So I was just doing my bit.
Yeah, so you just help them have their voice in democracy.
Yeah, I wanted to democratically vote out a fascist dictator, and I was not going to stop until I was able to do that.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
Mm-hmm. I fully
Why not a
support
queen?
the Harris Biden administration. I think they're going to be a wonderful, wonderful team.
Yes, and they will rid us of this pesky dislike button on YouTube.
We don't need it. We don't need dislikes. People don't dislike. They're just toxic.
Oh, because you're a white straight
Yeah.
male smut, I went ahead and
Yeah, because
disliked
if
your,
we want to get rid
went
of
ahead and
people, we
disliked the
can just
Smudcast
cancel
and I'm
them.
on.
We don't need to we don't need the dislike button. Then people will just dislike our things. It's not good.
Mm-hmm. Without dislike, everyone has to like. So it's going to be.
It will be double
it's gonna be
plus
great.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh.
That was refreshing.
Well, I think that's enough for today. Thanks, guys, for tuning in and watching this amazing video, and hopefully we get to talk to you guys real soon. But thanks, everyone, for coming in. It's a nice, big, full team here. And
To be honest with you, I honestly think this might be the last episode of Smudcast. I don't think we'll be able to do a better video than this. This was such.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, it was so good. I finally opened my bottle up again. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I was able to speak freely about how I really truly feel about not only Star Wars but also politics in general. And it just felt so refreshing to be able
Hawk
to
is a
speak to
hero.
friends. Mm-hmm. Talk to friends about horsecocks and communism. It just felt so natural to me.
Yeah, I was finally able to use my oppression
The horse
points.
cocks
That
felt
was
natural
great.
for you.
so thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll talk to you real soon. Have yourself a great evening. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye. April Fools.